right, take 2 of episode 2 of Off the Air. Ben and Woods is here. Welcome in, everybody. Good to be with you. Short, regular show for us today, only 2 hours, and got to come in here right after and come to the set of Off the Air and get this thing going. So, yeah, we'll have some fun. We'll try to have some fun. I'm Woodsy, Paul Reindl, our executive producer.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, Paulie. And Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. This is where we get loose and get comfortable. We can curse and do anything we want.
You mean we don't get loose enough on the air? I get plenty loose as I possibly can.
You're sitting straight up. I want you to sit back and, yeah, we're off the air right now, so you don't have to be.
All right.
You don't have to be.
Pants are a little.
You don't need your headphones.
No.
You don't have a call screen.
Nope. We're just 3 guys having a conversation. I was kind of disappointed that you didn't wear your hat that I got you over in Manchester that says, well, I guess I can say it here. It says cunt all over it.
It does.
And they were selling those on the street. They had the option of buying the hat that said cunt all over it or the one that said twat all over it. I obviously went with cunt. Don't know which one would have been better.
I think I was more embarrassed by the one you bought.
Right.
I think if I could have maybe wrapped my head around the other one.
Yeah, I mean they were both deadly.
Let's not act like you're going to like a Padres game in either one.
That's true.
Correct. You wouldn't wear either of them, but it was
so it doesn't really matter.
Nor would you.
No.
Nor would you.
You're right. You're right. And I did. The funny thing is at the concert when I was at Heaton Park to see Oasis.
If there was ever a time to wear that hat, by the way,
I saw it.
Just wear it at that show.
It was there. I saw it multiple times.
Yeah.
I saw a woman wearing it. I saw a guy wearing it. I thought it looked great. I did take pictures of them, but then I remembered the rule. You don't really want to take pictures of strangers in public. And I'm guilty of it. I've done it before. And I decided, I'm not going to post that. But I do have the pictures, and I thought, taking pictures of strangers is weird. People do it to me all the time, and I hate it because I've never had a good likeness ever. I'm always doing something really weird, and it doesn't look good. But so I hope you enjoy the hat. We'll keep it. It's part of Ben and Wood's lore now. But man, what a trip! I gotta say, a couple days back, the jet lag it's a real thing, man. And I felt great when I landed, but you're home, you're seeing your family, you're excited.
How would you describe it? Is it like you're tired at the wrong times of the day?
Yeah.
Your body feels like it's a different time of day still.
The physical part of it for me is my legs feel super heavy, and I haven't slept well since I've been home. I've gotten up super early and I haven't been able to fall back asleep. So I just lay there, and so I'm getting used to it. I feel a little bit better today than I did yesterday. I expect by tomorrow, I'll feel great, but man, something happened to me and I had forgotten it until I was driving in to work this morning. And it was one of the crazier parts of the show. And I can't believe I forgot to tell this story. It's probably better for here.
Okay. All right.
And I need your perspective. I need your advice on this. This was absolutely fucking insane. And I wondered, is this really happening to me? Or am I under the influence here?
Probably was somewhat possible.
It was possible.
Okay.
Possible. So I'm standing, as I told the story on the air, it was an extremely long day. We got to the venue at 11:30 in the morning, hoping to get upgraded to front standing. We didn't, but I greased a security guard. She walked us back to VIP.
Were you at all worried that it was a sting, bribery?
I was. Honestly, I was, because I saw a supervisor kind of walking by, looking, and listen, man, I wanted to be up front. I flew all that way. I wanted to be close. I did not want to be. It wasn't like I need to be VIP. It was I just want to be close to this band. I flew so far. It's my 50th birthday. I'll pay. I didn't have access to buy VIP, or I totally would have. But I didn't have that access being in the States.
Yeah, I would have chickened out. I would have probably wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But I would not have risked trying to bribe a security guard / officer.
Yeah.
To get closer.
And the thing is, I'm trying to think of the times in my life that I've greased somebody a little extra cash.
I was going to ask, have you ever slipped someone some cash trying to get a hookup?
I tried at a hotel desk.
Yep.
Once.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it work?
No, they just took your
money.
I did 20. Should I have done more?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do 50 minimum.
50. It didn't work.
Well,
I mean,
thanks
for the tip, sir.
It's funny because I'll get back to the story in a minute, but when I checked into my hotel, very nice hotel, And the room that I got was an average room. It had a balcony.
Was it a big hotel or
It's
it looked
tall.
like a boutique?
It's boutique, but
Yeah.
it's maybe 8 floors.
Okay.
But
Okay.
most things there are much smaller than they are
Yeah.
here. That's just
But when
space-wise.
When I landed and I went to check in and I'm all smiles and pull into this incredible hotel, the car park out front was Range Rover, Ferrari. I mean, it was nice. So I knew, all right, I'm in a baller place. And I go to check in and the guy's like, welcome to the Dakota. And what do you here? What do you here? What's your purpose? And I go, man, I came to see Oasis. And he goes, really? Yeah, it's, town is a buzz. And I go, yeah. And I said, and it's my 50th birthday. And he's like, oh, great. And I expected him to be like, well, let's see what we can do here, blah, blah, blah. And he just was like, okay, fantastic. And we move on. So I didn't offer a bribe, but I also I'll be honest, I was expecting an upgrade and I didn't get one. So I was a little disappointed, but hey, that's life. So we get to our spot in the second corral of VIP, and I'm right on the railing. And thank God for the railing, because if I had to stand there without something to hold on to for 6-7 hours, I would have died. And standing on the rail, and it starts to fill in. And it starts to fill in behind me. And it's deep. It's really, really deep at this point. And I'm a little bit anxious at this point. I'm looking around. I've heard about these English hooligans. I wonder, am I going to get crushed in this show? Am I going to slip and fall? Like I started to get a little anxious. And you guys, this was wild. It's packed. And we're about maybe 10 minutes before the first band, Cast, comes on stage. And I turn around, and there is a guy in a wheelchair. And he was not there 5 minutes before. He had, in his wheelchair, maneuvered his way, rolling through a deep, deep, deep crowd of Oasis fans. This is on his own. This is a motorized wheelchair.
Okay.
And I shit you not, he pulls up right behind me. And he is parked right behind me. So
on your ass.
On my ass. So I'm standing and I look back. He is dressed like he looks like Liam Gallagher. He has the hair, the long sideburns here. He has dark sunglasses on. He's dressed in like mod wear, and he's sitting there and he's just staring at.
If you stood up straight and just leaned back even a little bit, you're probably hitting him.
You're
bumping his legs.
He's going to be. Yeah. You're thinking he's going to be looking at your butt.
He is looking at my butt at this point. No, what I thought was, oh, what is the protocol here? I'm sitting here on the railing now. I'm standing on the railing. Good point. Nice distinction there.
Well, because I think that's important, because I know where you're going here.
And I'm standing there, and he is just parked right behind me. He's not saying anything. There's nobody with him. The way that my brain works is, okay, well, you have been here since 11:30. You have sweated this thing out. You have endured the rain. I can't pee. I can't do anything. But protocol says I have to give way. I have to give way for the guy in the wheelchair. I have to. It's human decency. Then I did the calculus in my mind. I said, well, the railing is higher than he can see anyway. He's going to be peering through tiny little holes in a railing, looking into the security guards. If I move, I don't think he's in a better position. In fact, I don't know the best position for this guy in this crowd.
You'll just make both of your situations worse.
And I'll be honest, man, the selfish part of me kicked in that said, I've been here. Like, I'm not leaving my post here. I've earned this. But then the other part of me, the anxious human side of me, said, if he's more comfortable here, I need to give him a spot because he is handicapped. Now, this is where it gets really fucking weird. And I mean really fucking weird. All of the sudden, he stands up out of his wheelchair. He looks around.
Oh, my God.
He looks around, sits back down, reverses, and starts going through the crowd again. And the Italian guy's next to me goes, it's a miracle. And I went, oh, my God. Oh, my God, what just happened? And I thought, well,
He's a phony.
Maybe, and that's
Or-
That's genius.
Are there disabled people who can't really stand for long
yes.
periods, but can get up for a moment if they need to?
So then,
I'm thinking like a high schooler brings crutches to Disneyland.
Yeah,
type of
right,
thing to get,
right.
to jump the line.
Yeah, Paulie used to work with a guy, and we've replaced this guy twice on the air. Played football in college. You know who we're talking about. He tweeted one time that he used to fake that he had leukemia to get on airplanes early and to get better seating in airplanes. And I always read that tweet, and went, that's like the lowest of the fucking low. Like, it doesn't get much worse than that. I will be honest, when we had our firstborn son, we tried to get on the plane early one time because that's what you do when you have a baby. I thought that was the whole point of having babies, so that you could get on planes early.
Family boarding.
They fucking put the kibosh on us. And my dad was so mad. He wrote the airport. He's a platinum, diamond, whatever. He was livid. He's like, how dare you? And I thought, because every flight I've ever been on was, anybody with small children, feel free to board now. So Hannah and I stroll up to the front. So anyway, this guy stands up.
One small child here.
He stands up, looks around, sits down, reverses, and just starts going back through the crowd. Now, I don't know that he was a phony. Again, there could have been some condition where I can stand, I can walk a little bit, but this is how I'd rather get around.
Can't really walk. It hurts.
But it would. You want to talk about like, I'm going, what did I take something I wasn't aware that I took? Because I swear I just saw this guy in a wheelchair stand up and look around and then sit back down and wheel himself off. And it was, listen, he did not put me to the test. Now, then I started to feel really guilty. I go, well, dummy, if you had let him up front, he could have stood up and held on the rail and watched the show. And so, of course, I've been beating myself up about that since. But it was one of the trippiest things I have ever seen in my whole life. And then, then he took off and nobody was harmed in the making of that story. But it was crazy.
To ease your conscience, I mean, if I were you, and if I was in your position, I would be choosing to believe that he was a phony.
Yeah.
Trying to get the best possible view, just cruising through the crowd, thought he had it. Nah, this isn't really working out. I'm going to keep going. I'm also wondering, do they not have like a roped off area for people in wheelchairs? You see that at any sporting event or concert. Like, it's usually a pretty decent viewpoint.
No doubt. At baseball games, you see it all the time.
And
at
so
Petco.
that also makes me think maybe he was trying the whole, I'm going to bring this wheelchair in and try to get a baller spot. Stands up. Nah, this isn't really.
It was wild
for
dude.
me.
It was.
That's how I would choose to believe it. And you're never going to see this guy again.
Yeah.
It's never going to matter.
But it's so weird when you're pressed, when you're pressed to access the part of your brain that is, no, I deserve this. And that's, bro, I'll be honest with you. I was completely in the, dude, absolutely not. I've been out here all day long. I feel terrible for whatever got you in that wheelchair. But the selfish side of the human being is what I wanted to talk about, because I thought to myself, no, like, I'm not giving up my spot, man. Now, later on in the show, I told the story. The little kid, 13-year-old kid, asked if he could stand on the rail next to me. I said, come on up. And then I let his dad take my place. I'm no hero for that, but I got to see something really cool and special. But, man, I'd had my fill at that point. I had experienced everything I needed to experience. But, dude, it was watching him stand up and look around was one of the trippiest things I've ever seen.
You are an empathetic person.
Yeah, I try to be.
I think the most important thing that a human being can have is empathy, to try to think and put themselves in the position of what another person is going through and try to make that person's life a little bit easier. But it's also a curse sometimes.
It totally is.
You're kind of the other side of the equation. You're there for your 50th birthday. You spent tons of money to get there.
Thousands of dollars.
There are thousands of other people and probably dozens of other people right on that rail that could have given up their spot. Your new friend, Aussie Tony.
Yeah.
On his 4th, 5th Oasis show.
Yes.
Probably he'd be much better to give up his spot than you are to give yours.
Aussie Tony should have picked him up and held him for the whole show so he could see. Yes.
Come here, mate.
Come here, mate. You're right, man. And it can be an absolute curse. I saw a tweet one time also that said, the worst person just told someone, hey, I'm an empath. And that is unquestionably true. I've worked with several people that I'm an empath. I'm like, yeah, you're also a cocksucker. So like it's not mutually exclusive here. But I don't know, like feeling everything and constantly being worried about not just being able to just be, and constantly being worried about like, what is he thinking, or what are they thinking, or am I doing this wrong? It's an exhausting
So
way.
how long did that fuck with you throughout the show? Like you said, this is about 10 minutes for the
Bro,
opening act.
once he
came on.
left, I was fine.
Okay.
Like, and then later I was like,
what was the total amount of time before you realized he was there to him leaving?
he probably sat behind me for 60 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but count it out. He's sitting behind me, not saying a word for 60 full seconds till I turned around, looked at him, and then go, oh shit. And then I turned back around and just kind of like glanced over. And that's when I saw him stand.
All right, so he wasn't like parked behind you for 30
No,
minutes.
no.
Okay.
No.
You made me think of something though, because I think we all can appreciate, especially if we're in good health and our family's in good health, how hard it must be to be confined to a wheelchair.
Oh, impossible.
And all the physical limitations and how difficult that would be. But it just struck me how emotionally difficult it would also be, like to feel guilty to move to the front of the line. Like, oh, I'm in a wheelchair, so I get to come to the front.
Such a good point
for me.
Yes.
You'd always be worried. Did I just move someone who was celebrating their 50th birthday? I can't even think about how difficult that must be for someone who probably was used to at some point in their life being very self-reliant,
right,
and empathetic person, all of a sudden having to rely on the empathy and generosity of others to get what the rest of us take for granted all the time.
It's such a good point you make. It absolutely is. And, you know, the other thing about me is that I don't like to be a burden, you know, on anyone. I do not like to burden people. You know, I've told my wife many, many times, if the shit goes down, I don't want something long and drawn out. I don't want my kids, you know, I don't want you to have to do for me what you had to do for your dad when he passed away. I don't want my kids to see me that way. Old Yeller me. You know what I mean? Do what you have to do. I do not want to be a burden to anyone. I don't want to be cared for. I don't want to be kept alive. I don't want to burden anyone. This is getting very dark. But it's just the way that I feel. I've always been that way. I don't like to burden people.
But you also don't know the joy that you give other people. Even though you feel like you may be a burden, they may feel like, I love doing this for Woods.
I want to stay with him.
Yes,
yeah.
He's done so much for all of us. I love this. I would love to stretch this out. You may think he's a burden, but you don't know the kind of joy that you still bring other people.
Well, it brings up an interesting
Just
point.
Give me power of affair. What is it?
Power of attorney.
I'll take care of all your
take care of
affairs
business.
for you. I'll be the one to.
Yeah, just
because I have no problem.
Take me out of my.
Because I'm the same way. I am the exact same way. I've told Megan, and like we're not having kids, and it's not to say like you. I don't think I would question anybody that's having kids because, well, they want somebody to take care of them when they're older.
Right.
That shouldn't be the reason.
That should not be the reason.
And that's not like the reason why we are not or not having kids. But like we're like, oh, what's that going to look like, you know, in 40 years or something? Right. And so I've had to tell her, I'm like, if anything happens, it could happen next week. By the way, I could get in an accident. You know, if I'm a vegetable, like, let me go.
Take me out.
I don't want you to have, I don't want anybody to have to wipe my ass, feed me. Like, I just don't want to do that.
I don't think it's going to be as easy for you as you think, because, I mean, you know, you guys have an aged dog right now that you're like, oh, well, it seems to be good today. Like, it's harder than you think. And especially if it's your spouse or something, you're like, no, I'm doing this. I'm going to take it upon myself. Or like your father, you know, the father for Hannah. It's tough. It's really tough. But no, man, like the amount of emotions that went through me, really the entire weekend. But in that moment, I was like, that was the weirdest, trippiest thing that I've ever seen. When he stood up and looked around, I went, what the fuck just happened? What was that? And I felt all of that. I'm like, oh, I'm being scammed. Oh, I'm a dick because I didn't move. This guy totally could have stayed on the railing. And, you know, it washes away when the bands come on and you get lost in the music. But it was it was as wild as anything I've ever seen.
It is amazing. I mean, you just turned 50. I'll turn 50 later this year. How much you do start thinking about old age. all of a sudden and what that's going to look like, and how close you are to not physically being able to do the things that you have done for your whole life. Will I be able to go and play golf when
Right.
I'm 70 or whatever age? And when I'm not able to do those things, will I still be able to find meaning and
Purpose,
satisfaction and purpose in my life at an old age?
I think the answer is no. I think that's the
See, now for
question.
me, I think it's
No.
a yes. I try to think about it. I spend most of my days, kind of mental pursuits. I can do crossword puzzles. I can play poker. I can do things that I still enjoy without necessarily physically being myself. I worry more about maybe some of the mental, like losing myself mentally, like Alzheimer's, and because I have his family history on, of
me
that.
too.
Like if I'm not myself mentally, then I won't even know anymore that necessarily that I'm not what I want to be. And that scares me, I think, a little bit more.
Well, it brings up an interesting topic in that, God, this is a really dark episode of Off the Air. This is what goes through our brain when we're not talking about Padres and whatever else. But Paulie brought this up this morning, and I haven't seen any validity to it yet. But it's still.
Neither have I, by the way. It's just speculation.
Where did you see the speculation?
I was reading some Reddit threads and a couple other blog posts, which it's just people, it's fans talking.
It's people talking. Allegedly, the Ozzy Osbourne passing, hit most of us pretty hard yesterday when it happened. Talked about it on the air. What a legend Ozzy was, and the rumor or the speculation was that potentially it could be one of those things where you fly to Switzerland and you're surrounded by your family and you say, I have Parkinson's. I'm done. I did my final concert.
Had Parkinson's.
Yeah, he's had it for a while.
4 years.
Yeah.
Now?
And I raised $190 million for charity, kids charity and Parkinson's. I had all my friends with me on stage, my band in Birmingham, where I grew up. I conquered the world, and I came out and I did one last show with them, and all the people I've influenced were there. Obviously, it doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't get any better than that. Okay, 3 weeks later, it's time to go. And I get to decide when I go. I fly to Switzerland, I do the assist, and I pick my moment without, doing something dramatic. It's a process, and it's obviously not legal to do here in the States. And I thought about it all morning since you said it. And again, I don't know that this is what happened.
Yeah.
The topic remains the same. It is something that does happen. We have so much free will while we're on the planet. So much. I have so much free will. I could today leave here, go rob a bank. I could walk into a bank, say, give me all your money. Now, I may get away with it. I may get caught and have to serve time. But I have the free will to do that. I have the free will to, when I leave here, to go get a meatball sub and go home and eat it and get in bed, which is probably what I'm going to do. I have that free will. How come I got to wait at the end after I've lived it and I've raised my family and I've got everything dialed in? Why do I then have to wait to say, no, I'll just lie here and suffer, make them suffer? Why is it so frowned upon? I wonder.
It's a slippery slope. Paulie talking about his dog. We had to put our Reggie down a few months ago, but we make that decision. We think it's a humane decision to do that.
Correct.
And we feel okay about it. And I think most of us probably listening to this would agree. You've got a really bad terminal disease and you know that your time is limited anyway, and you don't really want to keep going forward, that we at least would understand that. I know, your religious beliefs may play into it,
sure,
but we understand that. But how about a 42-year-old mom who's just riddled with depression and can't find any path out? Would we be okay with that? Like, no, I'm ready to go. And we don't. We feel like that's
You're right.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
It's still their decision when they want to go. But, they have younger kids, and we think that's a horrible thing to do. Why didn't you get help? Why didn't you reach out? We would try, but people do try to reach out, and they still end up making that decision, and we don't think it's
and that is the slippery slope. When you're talking about, I do feel there's a distinction between, Parkinson's disease, cancer, to where, and I suffer from, depression. I'm a big mental health advocate. I believe there's help involved, and there are people that try, and they go through exhausting, and it's not enough. And they end up, taking that way out. And for them, they're like, finally, peace. This is going to give me the peace that I've been looking for. It is a slippery slope when you're talking about it, though, because again, I think it's the suffering at the end of your life. You know, the laying in a bed, somebody caring for you all the time. I don't know why is it such a taboo decision to make?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking back to like the hypothetical that Ben just threw out, like, you know, somebody in their 40s, depression, and they want to make that decision. Unfortunately, it happens all the time already.
All the time.
And it's usually not done by a doctor in a hospital setting.
It wouldn't be. A doctor would never do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But either way, like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, like, you know, if somebody goes out and does that in their 40s, like, happens again every single day. It's such a nightmare for all the friends and family and loved ones, you know, to find them or whatever. And I'm like, is there another way to do this where, you know, you'd have to have conversations with people, and maybe those conversations alone can jumpstart somebody reaching out and being like, let me help you.
Well,
I don't know.
I know you can come back from, you'll never conquer depression, anxiety, whatever. You won't conquer it, but you find a way to put your feet on the ground and live with it and get through. If you have a terminal disease and they're like, hey, man, you got 6 months to live, you know, there's
anybody that saw Ozzy Osbourne on that show like 2.5 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Like,
if that came out to be the case, you'd go, I get it.
It's almost like it was planned ahead of that concert.
Right.
Like it just felt like the finality to it.
Yeah. There's, you know, depression does not have to be a death sentence. It doesn't. But, you know, stage 4 cancer of the brain or whatever it is. And it's a matter of what you want to do. And I don't know. I thought about it all morning, and I thought, man, that is, if that's
that point, you're like, my options are, I could go at any moment,
honestly,
and my family could be back at home or at work, and they don't get to be here to say goodbye.
We set it up and we do it humanely.
You know, we're not talking about a fit 38-year-old person or whatever. Like, yeah, I just, if that were true, whether it is or not, like, it sparks a discussion. We're having it right now, and I'm like, if that were to have been how it went out for Ozzy, I can't really find any problem with it.
No, I really can't either. I really don't either. But
like, he could die in his sleep tomorrow, you know what I mean? And then everyone misses that chance to say goodbye. Or if it happened the way, like, I'm at least visioning it in my brain, all your loved ones around you,
it's a celebration almost.
It's a celebration, exactly.
It's crazy to think about, man. It makes my stomach hurt. But yeah, you do, you know, with every passing day, you certainly feel a little bit more mortal. That's why it was so fun to be at that show, you know, because when I go, I want to make sure I don't have a ton of regrets. And I don't. I was thinking about it flying back, you know, so excited to see my family. And I don't have a ton of things that I have decisions I've made that I massively regret. I've hurt people that I regret that, but I don't have a lot of like, man, I should have done that, or I have more of like, man, I shouldn't have done that. Holy cow. Those are my regrets. I'm not leaving a lot on the table when I go. So that feels
You've lived
good.
a little too much like you were dying sometimes. Yeah,
definitely lived a little bit too much like I was dying. And, you know, and that was never from a place of, man, life's short. It was more of like, you know, I hate myself and this is how I'm going to live. I don't feel that way anymore. I'm super happy. I want for nothing now. So that's a good place to be, turning 50. But it is a trip. You know, turning 50 was a real trip because, you know, in my 20s, I didn't think I'd see 30. And early part of my 30s, I didn't think I'd see 40. And once I kind of calmed down a little bit, mid 30s, early 40s, I was like, all right, I'm ready to live and be a normal person and have a normal life. And I think I do. But I can't deny it's a little bit trippy hitting that number. It's a little bit trippy. It is. And yours is coming.
It is coming. Yeah. I feel like we need to run one of those disclaimers at the bottom of this episode now. Like, hey, if you need help, dial 988 or whatever the suicide hotline is. That's not necessarily where we intended, but we're all big believers in mental health.
Yep.
And it's never something you should be ashamed of asking for help. You do the work.
Yeah. And we're going to do the work again. I'll talk about it on the air tomorrow. I'm going to announce it, but Saturday at 11:30, at the Lost Abbey Sanctuary up in San Alejo. We're going to get back to that on Saturday. And then I'm off again, man. Another vacation, travel getting.
Be nice to be
Really
Stephen
must be nice to be
Woods.
Woodsy.
It is not.
Man.
It's not the worst. I'll tell you, it's absolutely not the worst. I'm really looking forward to this trip too. We're gonna do this every year, the Hawaiian vacation, because why not? It's the most beautiful place. I'm fully relaxed when I go there. We've got a house to stay in that we don't have to pay for, so that's pretty elite. Knocks out a big chunk of it. But
on the show trip,
who among
what
us?
the hell?
But this one's special. My brother, his wife, and my nephews are coming as well, and so the cousins get to hang and play together. And so we get a little bit of family time there. My mother-in-law will be there. It's very special. It's a magical place, Kauai, and where we stay in Honolulu Bay. I told you, and I'll say it again. It's the only time I felt like relaxed and at peace in like 35 years. There's nothing about, I don't want to do anything. I don't need to go anywhere. I'm just happy being there. And that's worth whatever it would have cost to go. It's a magical place. So I'm excited about that. Get a little time with the family. They love it. The kids don't get bored there. You know, it's just a cool place. And I was going over the weather forecast this morning. And Hannah's like, it's going to be raining the first 4 days. I go, I don't give a shit. Like, I would rather be walking
Such a pleasant rain.
It's
there.
like it's a beautiful rain. You don't mind it. You don't feel like, oh, I'm trapped in the house. Bro, we'll just go walk.
It would suck if your whole trip was
Yeah.
rain, but knowing you're there long enough where you're going to get plenty of beach time.
Yep.
Yeah, you had no problem with that.
I'm going to be on the air almost every day that I'm there. And so I'm taking the equipment. First time really doing that. Hopefully that works out, and I don't miss a beat. You know, we watch the Padres every afternoon there. And so I'm excited, and I don't want to leave you guys in the lurch, but man, I'm really stoked to go. And when I get back, we can do another one of these, and hopefully it's way less dark and depressing than this one.
Yeah, we need to
Jesus
start
Christ.
now.
Think of some funny shit next time, guys.
Ben's gonna tap dance on episode 3.
Ooh, I like that.
This one was fucking dark.
Oh, that was unplanned and unexpected.
So long, everybody.
Wow.
Woo!